Hi everyone, so in this video I wanted to talk about what it is that you should look for if you're looking to work with an outsourced marketing team. So if it's a marketing agency or marketing company that you're looking to bring in to support you, what is it that you should be looking for to make sure that you're making the right decision for you and your business? And the reason I wanted to do this video is because it's one of the most common questions I get when we're speaking with somebody, a new business for the first time, and they say, well, why should we work with you? What's the difference? And obviously they're asking these questions to all of the different agencies that they're sitting down with. But I just wanted to put it out there as to actually what it is that you should be looking for, regardless of whether you choose to work with us, the way you can ensure that you make the right decision. There's a few things that you can check first, even if you don't have the detailed knowledge of the services that you're looking for, to be able to check that you're choosing the right partner to work with. So I'm going to flip the screen down now and take you through some of the ways in which you can kind of vet them before you make your decision. Okay, so firstly, whoever it is that you're speaking with, that main point of contact, take a look at their social media profile and see what they're doing. Because just like anything, if you were hiring a plumber, you'd want to know that they use their own services. You want to know that they're capable, what they can do, and that they're qualified. So you'd want to do your research. So that might be Checkatrade and various different platforms that can provide that credibility. And if you're looking for a marketing agency, one of the things you need to look at is that they're marketing the way they're positioning themselves, and this includes the individuals. So you can come on here, what does it say about them? And I'm not saying they need to have the whole profile all optimized and everything all fancy, but have a look at how credible you think they are. Do they have a nice picture? Does it nice, friendly, approachable photo, or is it one that should really be better served on Facebook? Remembering that this is a business platform, and if they're a marketeer, they should know their audience and know to position the content appropriate for a professional audience. Have a look at anything they've got featured, because that's obviously something that they're saying they're quite proud of, so could be worth looking at. And then you can scroll down, you can have a look through their activity, look at the number of followers they've got. This gives you a kind of idea how active they are in the marketing arena. And obviously if you're choosing to work with marketing partners, you'd expect them to have some level of activity. And this doesn't mean that obviously if you're choosing an SEO agency, you expect them to have loads of followers online. No, not at all, but you'd still get a good feel for how active they are with their own marketing. So it's just there as a guide, but it gives you a good feeling as to whether or not they're very active themselves, because if they're specialists, you'd expect them to be. You can obviously see their experience, but some of the things to look out for are licenses and certifications. So what do they have? Because you would expect as a marketeer that they would utilise LinkedIn, a great platform to market themselves, to cover off some of their expertise, because they can be found. People can find my profile by searching it for lead generation, LinkedIn lead generation. So because I have these certifications here, so any good social media marketeer would know that, and you'd think that they'd pad out their profile. So you can look here and see, okay, what have they got, what certifications have they got, which gives you an idea as to whether or not they've got the expertise that you're looking for. Endorsements and skills, because you can complete skill tests depending on certain skills. LinkedIn at the moment only have a very limited amount of skills, but if they do, they could show up here. And again, you can see endorsements from people they've got. But I take endorsements with a pinch of salt, because a lot of people endorse people without actually knowing or having used their experiences, use their services. And then you can see recommendations. Again, something to take a look at. You'd expect to see a couple, but it may not be something that you see is very up to date, because it tends to be something people do once and then they don't really do very often when you're looking at it from a personal perspective. But by looking at their profile, you should get a good feel for them and whether or not they're positioning themselves professionally and as experts. So that's just one way. Then you've got take a look at the website. So what you'd expect to see on their website is you'd look out for one, if they're a web agency, how good is their website? What's it like on all different platforms? So you can just have a little look, either on individual platforms, or if it's responsive, you can play along like that and it'll give you a good feel for what it's like. Because you'd expect a web agency to have the most amazing website, because they're in complete control of the way their website looks. Unlike when you work, if you're a web design agency and you work for clients You can influence and direct them as to what's the right thing, but ultimately the client has the final sign off. So, but with their own website, they're in complete control of the branding, the messaging, the user experience, and everything. So it's a great way to vet how good they actually are and how much time and care and consideration they put into their work. And then you can have a look at for things like on their website, such as clients, what kind of clients they work for, gives you an idea on what type of industries and what type of size of businesses they're used to working with. So then you can see if you're a good fit. Again, not necessarily a deal breaker, but it gives you an idea before you've even spoken to them whether or not they could be a good fit for you. And then other things to look out for. Again, if you're working for a company that's full service, are they doing their own? Do they have case studies that talk about the campaigns and their success? Ultimately, results driven. And then you can look for things like, are they doing their own blogs? If so, how often are they keeping this up to date? And this could be particularly key if you're looking for an SEO agency or a copywriting agency, that you'd expect them to be using their own services regularly to help drive their own SEO or their own content strategies. So you'd expect to see things updated regularly, or even things like, so we've got our own LinkedIn and Facebook groups on social media where we engage with audiences. So that's almost, I'd say, a bit more added value. If they're doing that, great. Join the groups, see what's going on, see what the engagement's like, see what the content is like. It gives you a really good feel as to what you can expect as a client, because if they're doing it for themselves and they're doing it well for themselves, you know they're capable of doing it well for you. So that's a good way from looking at a website. And then you might obviously having a look around a little bit more. If you look at the service pages, how do they position themselves? Does it make you want to buy the service? So again, you can see who the people are working with, who they kind of partner with, and you can get a good feel for the flow. Because again, if they're a web expert or campaign expert, a landing page is a big part of that. So you need to see that experience is designed to convert, and that's very, very key, because if they can do Facebook ads or Google ads, but they're not experienced at landing page optimization, that's a hugely important part of your campaign. So you don't want it to fall flat there. So have a look at it and think, actually, does this provide lots of content? Do you read through it and think, actually, I think they're credible, I would potentially book that service. Again, certifications, again, on the website. So you've seen the individual ones, say on the LinkedIn profile. Have a look on the business. What are they saying they're experts in? Are they relative to the service that's promoting? These are all good ways of being able to see what they've done. Again, like the case studies, what other projects have they done? Have a little look around so you can see for yourself, do that research. Spending the time to do this bit of research will pay dividends in the long term and ensure that you choose the right partner for you. So that's, again, on the website what you can do and have to have a look. Because obviously you could look and spend ages reading it, but if they're in control of the messaging, of course they're going to be saying how fantastic they are. But you can get an idea on actually looking at the flow. Does it sell their services well? Because if so, you can see that they're capable of selling well. And then social media. So have a look at the social media profiles. What are they posting? How often? How many people are following them? What's the engagement rates like? Are people commenting and engaging? Are they running their own ads? Are they running their own? Are they creating their own content? So you can see here it's its own blog. We're using it for jobs, but it gives you an idea by looking through these things. Actually, if they're fairly active, it's not about how many times they post a day, but actually what are they posting? Are they considering and investing time in what they're posting? And what's the engagement levels like? Based on the number, when you look at it from a ratio of how many people they're actually engaging with or that are following them. So it's a great way to get an idea for how active they are. So if you're working for an agency that specialises in social media, you expect this to be particularly on point. And then again, as I said earlier, if SEO is one of the areas, you'd want to come into Google, search for keywords that are relevant to them, because if they're not ranking for their own search terms or their desired search terms, I mean, I would be very, very, that would highlight a red flag to me, and I would say, well, okay, if they're not ranking for themselves, if they're not investing their own time and energy in their own services, do they really believe in it? Can they really get results? So as you can see here, obviously beware if you're unsure that the ones that say ads, these ones here, you can see there's 4 here, these are all Google Ads. So these are ones that people are paying for. So ignore those if you're looking for it from an SEO perspective, and jump straight down to, obviously you've got the my business listings here, as you can see we're listed there, and then this is where the organic listings actually start. So this is where the SEO results start. You can see we're listed here because so for us, we're very proud that we invest heavily in our own services because we believe in it. We wouldn't ask somebody else to do something we wouldn't ourselves. But a lot of companies out there don't. Obviously, lots still do. We're not the only one by any means, but there are lots that don't, and that's where the red flags are. And I would say, if you do your research into them and look out for actually which ones are using their own services, that's probably the best way for you to know if you're choosing the right partner, by looking at the results they're getting from their own services, because you can look at the certifications, the followers, and stuff like that, and the clients they've worked with, but all of that can be slightly misled, even the reviews and case studies. But when it comes down to something like search engine optimization, you can search in. The only way they can manipulate these results in the organic is if they're actually using the services. So they can't manipulate it. It's a direct result of them using their own services. So you know, okay, they've got the results themselves. They use their own services. Therefore, we know they can't fake that. They could, if they put an ad, they could appear there, and you might, if you weren't aware those were ads, you might be misled. But if you're looking in organic, the only way to get there is to optimize the site. And with social media, if they've got a high number of followers, high levels of engagement, they've only got that through hard work. I'd be a bit wary on follower counts. So if you've got loads of followers, if they've got loads of followers, you should expect to see a high engagement rate. So look for a significant increase in the number of comments and likes on pages, because there are companies out there before that have bought bots or paid for bots to like them. So the follower counts could be high, but the engagement rates would be really low. But that's quite easy to identify. So it's looking at that ratio of, actually, if they've got 10,000 people who have followed their page, you'd expect to see a couple of hundred comments at least, and I would 10 to 50 comments realistically. If what they're doing is they're serving engaging content, and being a marketing professional agency, you would expect them to be getting it right. Whereas you may not with another brand who's got high followers, because they might not be posting the right things without the support of a marketing agency. But if they're a marketing agency, you should expect to see high results for themselves. If you don't, then you need to wonder whether or not they are the right partner for you. So I hope this has been useful in taking you through some of the ways in which you can check agencies or providers out before you make your decision.